another episode of Monday Mojo. It's episode 85.
Let's get hold on. Just
What?
like a teacher's asking, his class, like, hey, how are we doing today? And everyone's like, oh, yeah, we're doing good. I'm gonna say, Max, one more time. How are we doing today?
We're doing well. I mean, me personally, I'm exhausted. It's been kind
Max,
of a
one more time. How are
doing
we doing
great,
today?
Chris.
There
Thanks.
it is.
We're doing great.
It's Memorial Day weekend, Max. It's a Monday. The sun is shining here in sunny South Carolina. I'm sure it's doing the same in sunny Seattle. Look
No,
at those.
It's actually quite cloudy in Seattle, but that's okay.
Well, don't take away from my alliteration.
Sunny Seattle. Wow, that's not
Sunny
very
South
creative.
Carolina. Oh, it just came out, But come on, man. The Mariners, for the first time this year, nothing to write home too much about, but nonetheless, for the first time this year, we are 3 games over 500.
Yeah.
Okay. We just went 6-1 against a team that we should beat and should sweep for the second time in the season. We've done so for the first time since 1991. You and I were still just a thought. We were still in our father's ball sacks.
Okay.
I mean, we didn't exist.
Yeah.
For the first time since 1991, the Seattle Mariners in a 4-game set swept the Oakland Athletics. I can't believe that it's not happened since 1991, but
Yeah.
baseball will baseball, and it did. And so that in itself is phenomenal.
As of today, the A's have lost 11 in a row and are 10-45, which I'm pretty sure, I think at least like when we beat them one of the games, we got them to 10-40. I think like Angie Mintic or something like had some stat, like I think tied for the second worst start
Ever
for a season. Yeah, for the first 50 games, 10-40.
Do you know who they were tied with?
No.
That's got to be the worst start in MLB history. If it was tied for second at 10-40, now 10-45, I can't imagine that's still in second.
That's brutal, man.
Hello, Las Vegas. You're getting a baseball team. Let's set it up, Mac. Let's bump, set, and spike here. A little volleyball analogy. Like we just touched on, 4-game sweep against the A's. We then proceed to lose the first game of the series against the Pirates, but then take 2 to go 2-3 for a 6-1 homestand. Julio Rodriguez, he's back. That's what we're going to touch on in a bit today. Starting the week, he was at a .216 batting average. Throughout this past week, he went 14 for 30, almost hit 500, if you guys are doing math at home. And he's brought his batting average up to a 2 Jackie Robinson, a 242. That's a 216 to a 242. That's almost a 30-point jump in 1 week.
He had a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, I think the Julios came out. He must have been eating his Julios for breakfast.
That's hilarious.
Have you not seen his cereal?
No, he has a cereal.
Yes.
Julio
Rodriguez, Julios. Yeah. They came out with Julios, man.
Dude, protein in baseball.
Don't know if cereal's got protein in it, but hey.
No, I know, but these do. Julio's do. And then what we've got? So 6-1 this week, and then we're also going to talk about what's coming up this week. We have a tough series against the Yankees at home, thankfully, but then we're off to Arlington to play the Rangers, which would be a huge win if we walked out of there at least with a series win.
Yes, it would.
Game 1, Oakland. This is where we were excited to watch this series, right? Because this is when the M's beat down the A's mercilessly. Castillo returned from his roughest start at Fenway. Things didn't go.
Roughest start as a Mariner.
As a Mariner, right? 6 scoreless innings, 8 strikeouts, 4 hits. His heater was topping out at 99.
So the thing is, what Luis Castillo, Logan Gilbert, and George Kirby, all of their fastballs are touching like 2 miles per hour faster than their average, than their career average. And this is over the span of the last like 2 weeks or so. And so, yeah, Luis Castillo was touching 99. George Kirby was touching 97. I think Logan Gilbert even hit 98. And so something's going on with our pitching coach, Pete Woodworth. Shout out to you. I don't know what he's doing, but he's getting more spin on those fastballs and they're going faster. And you could see Bryce Miller, him too. Like obviously his career average is just what we've seen because it's not a large portion, whatever I'm looking for there. But they're all just they're fast. They're just being pitched faster. It's a fastball. So that helps. That helps when they're being pitched faster. But yeah, no, he was touching 99, man. And as you said, I mean, 6 scoreless, and he became a member of the 1,000K club, 1,000th strikeout.
Just to remind me, refresh our listeners, how long has La Piedra been in the league?
Man, you got to put me on the spot.
Yeah, true.
I'm gonna guess 6 years, 7 years.
Yeah, sounds about right.
If you want to look that up for me real quick.
No,
touch on that?
No, you look that up. I'll talk about Kelnick's 455-foot mammoth home run. Kelnick is he still? Yeah, he's still leading the team with ding dongs. I think he had a couple more this week.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, for sure. Sorry, I should have had this pulled up in the first place. Yeah, 10 home runs on the season. Jared Kelnick is continuing to do his thing. He's not as hot as he was earlier, but he's still consistent, and that's what we can be appreciative of for JK. And then Caballero. This is also this was his second straight home run, right?
Correct.
Yeah, right. He hit his first big league home run in what was it? Boston? No.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And then comes right back into town, hits his second dinger of his career in the 11-2 to win in the 11-2 win.
So what's interesting about that game, if I didn't watch the game and I see the
late
score,
for you? Yeah.
No, I watched it. But if I didn't watch it and I look at the score and I just see 11-2, I'm gonna guess we had a number of home runs, at least 3, right? At least 3. However, we only had those 2 home runs from Jared Kelnick and Jose Caballeros. And
Caballero,
thank you. The rest was just us moving the line and doing what we do with runners in scoring position. We went 6 for 11 with runners in scoring position on that Monday's game, the first game against the A's. We had a total of 13 hits. Only 2, like I said, were homers. Julio had 2 doubles. Julio, I mean, we already said he's coming back. He had 2 doubles that game. Jared Kelnick, he had 3 RBIs, including the 2-run bomb, and then he had a double to bring in Julio. And that's what we've been wanting to see, and like why I think Julio is going to be staying at that 3 spot is because if Julio's on fire and Kelnick is too, I mean, that 1-2 punch that Mariner fans have wet dreamed about ever since we've had both of them in the organization. We've wanted that 1-2 punch, and
for both of them to be effective at the same time too.
Yeah, that's what
like actually getting shit done. Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
and to your point,
doing it.
Yeah, no, to your point. This is, I mean, 11-2, you would think there's a bunch of bombs. Yeah. But this is what I've been talking about. This is real baseball hitting, moving the line, hitting singles, hitting doubles, getting on base, and actually, driving in runs versus just, smacking them out of the park, which is great to see. In that 11-2 win, a total of 13 hits. That's just insanity. Of course, we're talking about the Oakland A's here, and we're talking about the ERAs for some of these Oakland pitchers, but
that's what we want to see when we're playing a team like this. We expect to get a sweep. We expect to at least win 3 out of 4 to get the series win, and we do what we expect. And that's what I've said this before, but like the old Seattle Mariners it seemed, play really well against a good team and then flounder against a shit team and all hell kind of breaks loose. And that's not the case right now. So that's good that we're kind of bouncing back. Our pitching has just been on fire. I mean, I'll touch on this in a second, but the Seattle Mariners are leading the MLB with 28 quality starts.
Damn.
We're leading.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, we have been talking about this, right? The pitching for the Mariners has been, for the most part, really incredible. It's just we need to pair that up with actually getting runs, right? So
Which
Oakland,
we've been doing.
Yeah, well, Oakland, we were able to prove that, but again, it's not necessarily, we're not going up against some great pitching against Oakland. But still, it's nice to see. When you look at game 2, though, lower scoring game, M's win 3-2. What was really, reassuring to see is Marco bouncing back.
After he didn't even get through 2 innings in his last start, and he bounces back, man. 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 earned runs on 4 Ks, and he was just dotting. Obviously, Marco doesn't have the gas behind his arm, but he was dotting and painting his pitches. And then, JP Crawdaddy, he hit a homer. 2-run homer, and then Ty France hit one. They went back to back. That was proven to give the Mariners all they needed in that 3-2 victory. And then our bullpen, Trevor Gott, Justin Topa, and Paulie Sewald, they go 3 innings, no hits, obviously no runs to seal the victory. Paul Sewald, he's 11 for 11 this year on save opportunities.
Is he? Yeah. If we're skipping ahead a little bit, but didn't he blow the save? Didn't he blow the save yesterday on Sunday?
The game we won?
Yeah, the game we won, but it was 3-2 in the top of the 9th, I believe.
I'd have to check my notes. I don't think he blew it. I think he came in the 8th, actually.
I could be totally wrong.
I could be too.
Yeah, true. But bullpen is still doing their thing. That's all that matters. Game 3, hyped on Bryce Miller, doing his Bryce Miller thing again against the A's. I don't think Bryce. I think Bryce Miller has seen the shittier teams in the MLB, but he's still raw. He went 6 innings, 2 hits, no earned runs, only 1 walk, and 6 Ks. And then it says here, over 70% of the batters he's faced have gone down via his fastball, reaching 97. So this adds to your point. Like, if you have an effective fastball, there's write it. Exactly. Obviously, if you're Marco Gonzalez and pumping 85 mile per hour meatballs, you got to make sure that you got your spot. Okay.
Let's give him a little bit more than what he's doing,
Credit where credit is due. Okay.
Yeah.
And then what happened in the 4th inning?
Offensive overload.
Yeah.
Offensive overload, man. That was the inning that got the game for us. And we scored 5 of our 6 runs. This is early in the game before the 4th inning. Sam Haggerty had a chance with the bases loaded. He didn't do anything. We didn't get any runs. 4th inning, he gets his second chance with the bases loaded, and he ropes from the right-handed side. Ham Swaggerty ropes a double down the left field line to score Raleigh and Caballero. God, I don't know if I'm going to get that name right. And then JP, he followed up with a single because JP Crawford's doing what JP Crawford does in the leadoff spot, and he scores Pollock. Then Julio, he gets in on the fun with a sharply hit single to right field, scoring Swaggerty. And then with the bases loaded, Raleigh works a walk to bring in the 5th run of the inning. And then 7th inning, Teo, he got a leadoff bomb into the beer garden, 9th homer of the season. He's still striking out an absurd amount, but I don't think we're never not going to see that. I think he's going to be striking out the entire season, but it's just a matter of how much can he bunch his hits together. We're going to be needing to see a lot more of those bunches, and hopefully he's on the last road trip. He was figuring some things out. He got some hits here, but still striking out a good amount. Don't want to see that. So, that was just all in all, that game, that first 3 games were, what we wanted to see. We got some good amount of runs in an 11-2 victory. Only 3 runs, but that's all we needed with Marco having that bounce back, and then a 6-1 with Bryce Miller on the mound. Bryce Miller coming out in the 5th inning in the 6th inning after we had that, or 5th inning after we had that 4th inning offensive overload. You can write it up from there. That's all we needed.
Which was the game in which Ty got beamed in the wrist?
I believe It was that game. No, it was the game before. It was on Tuesday. When we won 3-2, he got hit in the hand, and then I got a notification saying he was on the 15-day IL, and I was just like, "You got to be fucking kidding me!" However, misses the next game.
It's all he did miss the next game. He missed the game in which we won 6-1.
Yes, and then game 4, when we're coming in for the series sweep to do what we hadn't done since 1991, Ty France had his first multi-homer game as a Mariner. I didn't know that. I thought he would have had one by now. Cal Raleigh's got 3 of those this year.
3, yeah.
Multi-homer games. That's crazy.
Yeah. That's insane. I went to the game on Thursday in which we took the sweep. For the outside of like the Ty France situation, which was epic, because I was texting you going into the game like, hey, do we know what the deal is with Ty? And you're like, oh, dude, 15-day IL. And then I show up at the stadium and it's like, nope, just kidding. He's playing tonight.
I go, never mind.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And he goes, I mean, Gilbert, let's start with him because I didn't know what to expect after the first inning because it was 2-0 after Gilbert gave up a 2-run bomb to Seth Brown. However, that's all that they would get, obviously, with us winning 3-2. He retired 22 of his final 23 batters. Logan Gilbert did. And that was the game that got us for the MLB best 28th quality start. And for him to give up 2 in the first and still complete 8 innings, I mean, he finished with 77 pitches, Max. 77 pitches.
Yeah, I know. I was
incredible.
It was nuts. I was sitting down. We had great seats on Thursday. And, it's getting late in the ball game. And I look up at the 7th inning. And I'm like, all right, this is probably like his last inning. He's probably touching like 90 pitches or something. He had he was averaging like 10 pitches an inning.
Less than that with a total of 77 through 8.
Dude, insane. Yeah, he goes 8 strong and finishes with 77 pitches. That's the Walter we love to see. Again, it was the A's, but still.
I don't give a shit who it is, man.
Yeah. One of the worst ways to lose a game is obviously we won this in this situation, but one of the worst ways to lose a game is walking home a bases loaded walk-off. It's just the most demeaning way, for a pitcher. It's just not a good look.
Well, the best part about, I think I know what you're saying. It wasn't a walk-off, but in the 8th inning.
Oh, you're right. It was at the bottom of the 8th. That's right.
It's the bottom of the 8th inning. We had 2 outs, Ty on first base. Oh, before this happened, how we got our second out, Jose Caballeros had gotten on first base. Obviously, Caballero. I need to get that name right. It's killing me.
Need to, yeah.
It's killing me. And he was on first base. Ty France pops up to Nick Allen playing shortstop for the A's.
Oh,
no
that's
infield
right.
fly rule. Infield fly rule in effect because only one runner on first, right? So what Nick Allen does, which is baseball IQ level 1,000, he let the ball drop. And it took a perfect hop in the outfield grass right to him, and he throws the ball to second base. Ty France safe at first, Caballero out at second. With that next batter, Julio Rodriguez, he ripped a double to right center. Ty France, no way in hell is he scoring on anything less than a triple or a home run. And he obviously didn't even come close to getting the wave for Manny Acta. But yeah, in hindsight, think like, damn, Nick Allen, that was really good play by you because Caballero probably would have scored. However, they proceed, the Oakland A's they proceed to intentionally walk Jared Kelenic, which, hey, last year, I don't think we're ever seeing Jared Kelenic get intentionally walked. However, that happens with Geno behind him. And Geno, another guy living on the K world, getting striked out left and right. He worked that bases loaded walk to get us the would-be winning run in that 8th inning. And so that was huge. And that's when Paul Sewald, he got the save to go for 11-11 in save opties this year. Dude's doing things.
Paul Sewald's doing things. One thing I did want to bring up is, at least I've read that Munoz is taking some bullpen sessions. So once he comes back, we can probably expect like a 50-50 share, between sharing 9th inning time. But Paul Sewald is money right now. Would
probably
you agree?
Really? No.
I think Paul Sewald is just a lock?
Right now, I mean, you're not going to throw Munoz back in as a save opportunity. in
No,
his
I know
first
that.
1, 2, 3 back outings
Yeah.
back, but the way that Paul Sewell is dominating right now, it's you don't mess with what's not broke. Don't fix what ain't broke.
That's true. That's true. Anyway, I'm stoked for Munoz to come back. One of the most electric relievers in the league.
He is. Well, let's go to the Berg. Let's go to the Berg. Game 1, George Kirby, he got his enthusiasm curbed because he had given up 3 homers.
Stomp Kirby.
Curb stomped Kirby. He had given up 3 homers this entire year. He gave up 4 to the Pittsburgh Pirates, who I believe were the 25th ranked team in home runs. Not that night, as Aaron Goldsmith said. They had 4. And JP Crawford, I mean, he hit another home run for his 3rd of the year, which was absolutely murdered, but it was a little too late, too little. It's the story of this game is just Kirby wasn't on at all. And we gave up 11 total runs. We got 6. I mean, we still scored a good amount of runs for an MLB baseball game, just wasn't nearly enough. And that first game, it gets you a little nervous for the next 2 because you're like, damn, now we got to win 2 in a row to at least get the series win. But we take it one game at a time, and we get vintage in game 2. We get vintage La Piedra, 10 Ks, 1 hit, 6 innings. Every single person in our lineup got a hit,
except for Colton Wong.
Except for Colton Wong. How long is he going to have a job with the Seattle Mariners?
I don't know, man. I was at one of the games too, and this guy in the urinal next to me was like, "Hey," which first of all, when you're peeing, like, and you introduce yourself and start a conversation by saying, "Hey."
Yeah.
Anyway, he goes, "Why?" I totally forgot about this. This guy leans over and he says, "Hey," and I go, "Hey." He goes, "Why is Colton Wong in our lineup?" I go, "I don't know, man, but I'm peeing." No, but
were you guys right next to each other in the urinal, or was he?
No, not really. I think he was like a couple urinals away, but it still was just like a really weird Seattle interaction.
Sounds Seattle to me, man.
Well, yeah, exactly. But
you're not starting conversation with guys in the urinals next to you. What's wrong with you?
I mean, it depends, dude. It depends on the context. You know, if you have something witty to say, sure. Like, but like you start off a urinal conversation by saying, "Hey." And then
we'll see what you should have done. You got to have more fun in that situation. You should like, well, his bat's not doing well, but then you should get on your tippy toes and like fake peek at the guy peeing and then be like, "Oh, but with a bat like that, we could be doing a lot better." You just got to make it more awkward, man. That's what
I guess
that's what I would do.
But the top 3, you know, the game we won 5-0. Top 3 guys in the lineup got 2 hits. So JP, Jared, and JP, Ty, and Julio. Yeah.
So they combined got 2 hits. I'm kidding.
No. They
each
had 2 hits. Yeah. But Colton Wong goes over 4. God damn it. But really the story for game 2 against Pittsburgh was Luis Castillo. That's the kind of stuff that, you know, we're used to seeing. Pirates, decent team. So, you know, it's reassuring to see him do so well.
They're in second in the NL Central. Last I checked, they were a game behind the Milwaukee Brewers. And so they're no crapshoot. They're no crapshoot. They're playing pretty damn good baseball. And for us to take 2 of 3 after losing in the first game, for us to finish and take 2 of 3 to go 6-1 on the homestand, god damn. I'll take that all day. And let's talk about game 3 because that was epic.
That's got to be one of the great, like the better baseball games I've watched. Like that was just
guess what number walk-off win that was for us this year?
6-1. That was our one.
That was our first.
That was our first walk-off.
Jesus, 6.
I don't know. I thought I'd overshoot
you really were
and
guessing.
then bring it down.
You really were guessing.
I was.
That was our first walk-off win this season.
Yeah, because we're 3-5. We're 3-5 in extras now. So like I figured there was a couple like bottom of the ninth walk-offs, but then, normally, I don't know, like so far this season, like getting into extra innings, we always lose in the 10th inning, it seems like. But I will say Saucedo, Saucedo.
Yeah, look who can't pronounce names now, asshole.
Yeah, I look like a freaking jackass. Balls of steel, dude. Goes into the top of the 10th inning, loads up the bases. I think at one point, I think it was like runner on second and third, nobody out. And I'm like, oh boy, here we go. Gets out of a jam unscathed.
Got a strikeout and then a double play.
Yeah, dude.
That's huge.
Shit was electric.
I believe Saucedo's only allowed 1 run this year.
Dude, doing great. But that needs to be mentioned. So that was just awesome to watch. And then, of course, a good old fashioned Geno bomb, a no doubter. Those things like, does it have enough? Like right when it comes off the bat, I was like, nope, game over.
Oh, he knew too. They were asking him, they're like, did you know right off the bat? And he's like, I knew right off the bat that was going out.
Yeah.
And was that not another time where they got to Geno by intentionally walking Jared Kelenic? That was the second time this week.
That's right.
Kelenic had been
Jared
intentionally
Kelenic
walked.
had just been intentionally walked right beforehand.
So the man's getting some. You get intentionally walked. It's respectful to you, but it's also extremely disrespectful to the runner or to the batter on deck. In both situations, Geno Suarez. In both situations, Jared Kelenic got intentionally walked. Geno Suarez got a walk and then hit a home run. So both of those situations, he got a ribby. 1 in the first, 3 in the second. But that's where Geno's coming in. You got to have a chip on your shoulder if the guy in front of you gets intentionally walked to get to you.
I got to ask you something. So Geno right now, he might not be, he's second in strikeouts. I mean, Teoscar Hernandez has stricken out 75 times this year. That's a lot. Geno's behind him with 65. So it's concerning. He's still batting 220. Most RBIs on the team. He has 34. Are you at all surprised that he's not hitting as many home runs?
Yes, 100%. I saw some stat. Maybe we said this on last week's episode, but what's he at now? Like 6 home runs. The stat when I saw it. The stat when I saw it, he was at 4 home runs, which put him on pace for 13 at that time in the season. It put him on pace for 13. And I mean, that would be a career low by a wide margin. I don't know what that number is. I'm going to guess by at least 12 home runs. That would have been a career low. And so it's a little concerning, but I think he's finding his stride a little bit. I think the entire offense is finding their stride a little bit, minus one guy who plays second base and should be getting DFA'd shortly. It's Colton Wong. I want Colton Wong to succeed. He's on the Mariners. He wears our uniform, and I wish nothing for the best. But, I mean, that's all I can do right now is wish, and I'm not getting any of those wishes answered. I can't rub any magic genie and have him grant those wishes for me for Colton Wong to be good. He's just second.
Unfortunately not. Wait, so... Oh, I get, and the other thing I was going to bring up too is, I mean, as far as DHs go, I know Geno's not our DH, but why didn't we see Mike Ford? Was it just because Ty came?
I guess
back
so.
Immediately, yeah,
because
he got called up, right? I mean,
he did get called up. Maybe, dude. I don't know. I don't know what happened. I got the Score app, and they're the ones that told me Ty France was on the 15-day IL. They're the ones that told me Mike Ford was getting called up. Both of those things were untrue. Ty France missed one game, and then Mike Ford, maybe he did get called up and sat on the bench. I didn't notice.
Dugout, yeah.
I never saw him play a game.
Yeah. Fake news. What do you think? What do you think about seeing Tom Murphy more?
Thank you for reminding me. When I was in Atlanta, and I was sitting in the family section, our the mom and dad of one of our hitting coaches. And Jarrett DeHart, if I'm saying his name right, Jarrett DeHart, he's one of our hitting coaches. His parents were sitting behind us, me and my brother, and my identical twin. He has a mustache and a lot longer hair than me right now, so we don't look too similar, but we're still identical twins, obviously. Anyways, Jarrett DeHart's dad goes, do you know who you look like? And I'm like, no, I'm like on the Mariners. He's like, yeah. Do you know who you look like on the Mariners? I'm like, no, who? He goes, who do you think he like said? Just random. If there was one person, I don't know. You look at me. Do I look like anybody?
I can see Tom Murphy.
He said fucking Tom Murphy.
I
He
can
said
see
Tom
that.
Murphy. And he goes, so I'm taking my glasses off. He goes, can you do that look that Tom Murphy does? And I was like, that one, yeah, for the eyes pop up, the veins come out. And he's like, oh, I need to take a photo of you and send it to Jared. And this whole time I'm thinking he's saying Jared Kelnick. And I'm thinking that he's Jared Kelnick's father. And it ended up, I found out, it wasn't, as I talked about last week, but he's like, you look like Tom Murphy. And so the whole game, he's like, oh, you got a hit, buddy. Yeah. Oh, you didn't get one, buddy. Like
He didn't. Did you tell him who Mac Miller was?
No, but I was like, well, it's funny you say I look like Tom Murphy because right here's my identical twin. He goes, he doesn't look like him. I was like, yeah, I know. But it was really funny.
I think it's the facial hair and I think it's the crazy eyes for sure.
To answer your question, repeat it for me about Tom Murphy.
I don't know. Just like, what do you think about seeing him in the lineup more often? He's obviously not the most.
Now that I'm his doppelganger, I would like to see him in the lineup every day. It's me out there, right? No, I'm kidding. I think he's. I don't want to see him in every day. I'll say that. But Tom Murphy, he's been hitting the ball a lot harder, and I don't know, man. He's a solid second catcher. I'll just say that he's a solid second catcher.
It's just, he's just one of those guys that we'd love to see to have already 4 or 5 home runs already. But he's got 1 home run. He's got 2 RBIs in his 60 at bats. That's a little bit unproductive and inefficient, if I might.
A little bit.
If I may say so. But, yeah, I would agree. Tom Murphy's solid enough. I mean, Cal Raleigh, as long as he continues to stay batting above 230, which is the case right now, I'm totally happy.
One thing Angie Mentink was saying on the broadcast, she was talking about how good Cal Raleigh's been as a hitter, but she just kept alluding to the fact of that's just a cherry on top. That's just a plus. What is most important is the way he handles our pitching staff and the way he gets them comfortable. I'm like, yes, that's important, but don't negate the fact that catchers still need to hit. And she was just kept saying oh, it's just an added bonus. No, we need to expect that he's a good hitter as well.
Well, no.
Hitter. He hasn't been a bad hitter, but we need to still expect him to hit well.
Well, he has been a bad hitter.
Yes.
He was a bad hitter. Yeah, right. But a couple years ago.
In his first season.
No, I know.
As a rookie.
I know. I'm saying at one point he was for a while. I publicly apologize for, my hatred of Cal Raleigh last year. And now, ever since midway through last year, I'm a huge Cal Raleigh fan. I'm just saying at one point he was a bad hitter. Yes, he was a rookie. I get it. But so was Jared Kelnick.
Remember when we went to the when we went to the Aqua Sox game and there was only 2,000, it was not a lot of people because it's Aqua Sox game, and Cal Raleigh was up to bat and I go, let's go Beefcake. And some guy from the exact opposite end of Funko Field goes, hey, did you just call him Beefcake? And then I go, yes, I did. He goes, oh, that's fucking awesome. Oh.
We love small, intimate baseball games.
yeah, it was a lot of fun. But hey, all in all, our offense has been on fire, and we're doing some good things. It's been much more consistent, and I want to see that stay. And our pitching continues to do what our pitching does, and that's dominate. And so if we can go, I love the tests that we have coming up against us, because you're going to get a test and you're going to have to pass it. And this is a test with one of the best teams in the league, who's still 7 games behind first place because the AL Beast East is fucking crazy. I don't know how Tampa Bay is doing what they're doing, but I guess it's just their drafting. The Tampa Bay is drafted so damn well, and they're fucking filthy. But nonetheless, the Yankees are sitting at 32 Magic Johnson and 23 Michael Jordan. That's a really good record. Meanwhile, we're 3 games over 500. They're 9. And so thank God we're avoiding Garrett Cole. He pitched yesterday. And so we've got Bryce Miller, Logan Walter Gilbert, and George Kirby. I think we got a very good chance. It's New York coming to Seattle, and I want to see a lot less Yankees fans when I'm watching the game today. I'd be there if I was in Seattle living there, but I'm not. As we all know, years past, it has been home games. Anytime somebody from the AL East comes, minus the Orioles, and Tampa Bay. But if it's Boston, if it's New York, or if it's Toronto, it's a home game for all of them. And so if it's a fucking home game for the New York Yankees this series, I'm not going to be happy with the Seattle Mariner fans because we're a good team now. And so there's no excuse for having your I got mad last year when we played the Yankees, or maybe it was 2 years ago, I forget, but there was they were doing the camera in the concourse before the pregame, and there was a dad, a mom in Mariners gear, and their fucking kid was wearing an Aaron Judge jersey. And I'm just like, never in a fucking million years would I go to a ball game with my son, my daughter, whatever, my child, and if they're not wearing a Mariners jersey, they're not fucking going. They're not going to the game. It's that simple. I mean, how could you allow the team that you root for, where your child is growing up, the city he's grown up, for them to wear an opposite team's jersey?
Dude,
Just
I don't know. I mean, dude, Aaron Judge, great role model, great baseball player, but what's worse is like, yeah, you know, it's one thing if you wear the opposing jersey, but it's another thing when it's a goddamn freaking Yankees jersey.
Yes.
Evil Empire is returning to Seattle, and I think we're going to take care of business too. I at the very least think that we're going to win the series. I do think we have a chance to take the sweep, but we do face Nestor Cortez. He always scares me, just his antics on the mound.
So I was about to say, so what we've struggled with a lot this year for the pitch clock, we've been getting picked off a good amount, and our base running just hasn't been where it needs to be. It's gotten better, but there's been parts where it's just like, yo, what the fuck is going on? Nestor Cortez, he is got really good balance on his left leg, because he'll get in his windup and he'll rock and he'll rock and he'll rock, and he's still in his windup, and then he'll pitch it, and it's throwing off the timing. And as long as you start your windup before the clock runs out, you can kind of do what Nestor does and just sit there until you're ready to go. Try and diddle around with your fingers and all that shit. And it's what he does. And as we all remember, he used to be a Seattle Mariner, and ever since he left and been on the Yankees a bit, he's been a stud. But I think with Logan Gilbert going up against him, as long as Logan's fastball is still touching 97, he's using that splitter, that changeup, that slider, that curve, we'll see a really good outing by Logan Gilbert, because he's got to be able to get ahead with that fastball first, and then he can use everything else. And the Yankees are going to be a tough team to do that against, because they like to hit home runs. If that fastball is not catching the corners, and if it's not getting painted, it's probably going to get painted over the seats.
That's a good call. So yeah, overall, we've got Bryce Miller, Logan Gilbert going on Tuesday, and Kirby on Wednesday. Then we travel to what I would
Arlington.
say Arlington, but what I would say is the surprising new mortal enemy of the Mariners, which is the Texas Rangers. They've really caught their stride, and it's scary to see, because now not only do we have to worry about the Houston Astros like always, but we also have to worry about the Rangers, because they're doing something right down there. Anyway, for that series, we've got Castillo pitching on Friday, Marco Gonzalez on Saturday, and Bryce Miller again on Sunday. So we get to see Bryce Miller twice. So lock those 2 games in as a dub or dubs for this week.
We're going to need to take the series, because we went 1 win, 2 losses the first time we played Texas this year. And like you just said, I mean, they're leading the division, and these are division games that we've got to win. And so if we got it, dude, I'll say this right now. we are not getting into the playoffs if we don't win the division. The AL East, as I said, is the AL beast, and they are going to take the wild card spot. The way that they're playing, wild card spots. They might get both of them if they're continuing the way that they do for the remainder of the season. With that said, we need to win the fucking division, and that's going to be a really tall task. I saw our playoff chances. MLB put them at like a 20-something% the other week, and that was before we just went 6-1, still really low. And that's because of what's going on in the AL East, and because of the lack of wild card spots that are going to be spread out through the remainder of the division, remainder of the American League, I should say. They're all going to go to the AL East, and that's scary.
I think we shouldn't have our. I like the optimism, and I get what you're saying, but I don't
think I'm being optimistic at all. There, I'm just being.
No. I think the way to think about it is not go for the division. I think still. That's just not a if you're saying you're being a realist, I don't think that's realistic. I think we're gonna have to, do better than one of the squads over in the AL East, and I think we're gonna have to rely on that wild card spot. It's just
like I said, the Yankees are third place in the AL East. They're at 32-23.
I know that. I mean, this is the time of year in which Mariners need to find. Like last year's 14-game winning streak.
Just do one of those again.
Yeah, just do one of those again and then kind of coast for the rest of the year. It's just, I don't know, man. Like, I don't think we're going to overcome either or the Astros and the Rangers. We talked about this at the beginning of the year, too. Like, we knew that, Houston had a rough start the season, but now they're catching their stride. They're not far behind the Rangers. I think the Mariners are going to have to overcome, Toronto, the Yankees, or the or the Orioles, whatever, like any of them, and probably lock down that third wild card spot. That's my take, but I just don't think winning the division is in the cards just yet.
I disagree.
Okay. Well,
I just disagree. I think,
all right.
Hey, I'm going to go back to my optimism side of things and say what I always say.
God damn it. Don't do it. Don't do it. God damn it.
Anything is possible. And speaking of Kevin Garnett, Boston Celtics, let's take a segue real quick. Did you watch Game 6 of the NBA Finals?
I did. Or the NBA East Finals. Yeah.
My God, I have never seen an ending as electric and as just like roller coastery of emotions for Jalen, or it wasn't Jalen Brown. I forget who popped the three. Marcus Smart. He popped the three to try and win it for the Celtics. It rattles in and out. And then what's his face who inbounded the ball? He tips it in.
Jalen Hurts. Yeah, dude.
Jalen Hurts plays for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh,
oh my God.
God, why am I bringing Jason Tatum?
He didn't even tip it in. Jason Tatum didn't tip it in. It was the guy who inbounded it.
I thought no. What? Dude, Jason Tatum was the person that got that last.
No, he fucking wasn't. No, he wasn't. I don't know who it was because I don't watch basketball that much, but I was watching that game. Jalen Hurts wasn't playing because he plays a different sport for a different team in a different city. But what the fuck?
Well, close enough. Anyway, Game 7 tonight. I'm fucking hyped. Go Celtics
too, man. Hey, let's go Heat. Let's go Heat, man. Jimmy Butler is one of the coolest guys in the world, and I love Jimmy because Jimmy loves country music. Do you know why Jimmy loves country music?
Why?
So this is back when Beats by Dre first came out, and they were a big thing for all sports players. Jimmy said, I believe he was playing in Chicago at the time. I could have been wrong, but I believe it was Chicago. He was like, I was in the locker room, and all my freaking teammates had their Beats by Dre on their neck. They weren't even on their ears. They were on their neck, and they're just blasting their music from their earphones so the whole world could hear it. And Jimmy's like, can you guys like put those on your head? Like they're supposed to be? And like, oh no, man, just listen to your own music. Like it doesn't matter. And so he's like, whatever. He goes home that night and he types into Google, what's the most country song there is? He had never from what I understood in this interview, he didn't listen to country before. He found, for all you country lovers, Don't Take the Girl by Tim McGraw, which is a phenomenal, sad
deep song, but it is as country as it gets. So he goes into the locker room the next day.
Just blasting country music.
He's got his Beats by Dre sitting on his neck, not his ears, and he's blasting "Don't Take the Girl," and they're all like, "Can you turn that off?" He's like, "Yeah, just listen to your own music." And then he goes, "Yeah, I actually listened to the words of that song, and ever since I love country music." So Jimmy Butler, fun fact, his favorite kind of music is country music. Game 7 of the NBA Eastern Finals is tonight. We'll see what happens with that, but that's not as important as what you're listening to us for, and that's for the Seattle Mariners. We'll wrap it up here. All right, we had a phenomenal fucking week against the Oakland Athletics, because they play like ass, punny, and we took it to the team who has arguably one of the most beautiful home ball stadiums. We didn't play there, but PNC Park.
That's a very hot take, but sure.
A beautiful stadium.
I'm not disagreeing, but there are more beautiful ones.
Whatever. We took 2 of 3 from them. And now we've got the evil empire, the New York Yankees, who we are going to call them New York Get Spankied, because we're going to spank them left and right. Thank you. And then Arlington. Everything's bigger in Texas. These wins
but when we go to Arlington, there's going to be a new sheriff in town. Rangers. Oh.
Army.
I don't know. I tried.
That's a fucking reach. Yeah. That's a fucking reach. Anyways, it's Memorial Day weekend, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys have had a blast. I hope you've stayed safe. I know you haven't stayed healthy because it's Memorial Day weekend, and that just, those two don't pair together. Let's ride with the Seattle Mariners, and let's continue this momentum. Let's continue this hot streak. Let's go 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let's go 12-1 in our last 13 games, because we're 6-1 in our last 7. So if we go 6-0, we'll be 12-1 in our last 13 games.
No, let's just make it simple on ourselves. I'm calling for a 4-2 week this week. We go 4-2 this week against the Yankees and the Rangers. Win both series.
Do we win?
Win both of the series.
Win both of the series. All right.
2-1, 2-1.
I'm gonna go 2-1, 3-0.
Nice.
We're sweeping the Rangers.
Okay. All right.
How sweep it will be.
How sweep it will be. Thank you for listening to another episode of Monday Mojo. Be sure to like and comment and subscribe. Share it with your friends. We love you, and we love the Mariners. So go Mariners.